Malaysia Airlines and One World connect you to more destinations around the world. As one of Southeast Asia's most frequently awarded carriers, Malaysia Airlines became part of One World, an alliance reserved for the world's leading airlines. This expanded our flight routes across the globe, connecting passengers to over 1,000 destinations in over 150 countries. See many of Europe's most charming and historic cities that promise a world of discovery and adventure. Experience the excitement, energy, and sunny side of America. Then head east to discover the wonders of Asia Pacific. As an Enrich member, you earn and redeem miles every time you travel with Malaysia Airlines or a One World member airline. As a One World traveler, you are entitled to exclusive benefits from the moment you check in. You'll also have access to over 650 premium lounges worldwide, keeping you comfortable until it's time to board your flight. So, the next time you fly Malaysia Airlines, know that it's your gateway to more destinations and the best in Malaysian hospitality.
Hello everyone, before we begin our presentation, these following topics will be discussed, which are introduction of MAB, challenges and ethical issues faced by MAB, efforts taken by MAB, the corporate social responsibility, and conclusion. Are you ready to fly confidently with us? Because we are about to depart. Hi, I am Karina. I'll be presenting the introduction of Malaysia Airlines Berhad, AMB. Let's start with AMB's history. Malaysia Airlines was founded on October 12, 1937 in Singapore as Malayan Airways Limited, with its first commercial flight taking place in 1947, 10 years after its founding. During the formation of the Malaysian Federation in 1963, the name of Malayan Airways Limited was changed to Malaysian Airlines. However, when Singapore withdrew from Malaysia 2 years later, in 1965, the airline was changed name to Malaysia Singapore Airlines. The airline, however, did not last and ceased operation in 1973 when Singapore and Malaysia decided to form their own carrier, which is Singapore Airlines and Malaysia Airlines System, also known as MAS. According to AMB's own official website, Malaysia Airlines System was dissolved from Bursa Malaysia in 2014 and ceased operation on 31st August 2015. The airline's rebranding resulted in the formation of Malaysia Airlines Berhad under the Malaysian Aviation Group, which began to operate as the national carrier on 1st September 2015 as its core business. As a result of AMB's rapid growth, airlines such as Firefly, MAB Cargo, Aero Direct Services, MAB Academic, Maswing, and Amal was formed under the Malaysian Berhad banner. Furthermore, they have received many awards each year, and the most recent award was the Best Customer Experience Award in 2021. The stewardess uniform also contained batik motif and design such as natural flowers like cempaka, jasmine, and hibiscus, as a clear show of their commitment to the Malaysian culture and custom. Furthermore, the company's business concept is centered on Malaysian-based jet operator that specialize in flight to Malaysia, Asia, and other countries. Secondly, to control the flow of information in their organization, Malaysia Airlines Berhad employs a functional organizational structure in which management is arranged from top to bottom, such as a pyramid with departments or division of the airline based on the many functions of the company. The airline typically has a CEO or Chief Executive Officer who reports to the Board of Directors, with executive reporting to him or her for various divisions. As you can see here, this is the AMD organizational structure. Based on the organization structure of the senior management team, it is led by Itham bin Ismail. He has become the Group Chief Executive Officer of Malaysia Airlines Berhad. He is in charge of managing the MAB's growth and performance as well as developing and implementing worldwide strategies. In addition, there are 5 divisions that under his leadership. First and foremost, in the senior management team, we have Boon Hugh Yee as Group Financial Officer who oversees Malaysia Airlines Group Company risk management and strategic financial planning. Secondly, we have Brian Fu Chi Yong as Group Chief Strategy Officer, who is responsible for the network and fleet planning for Malaysian Aviation Group, the AMD's parent company, in order to decide the size and shape of the future company. Next, in the organization chart, we have Ahmad Lukman Muhammad Azmi as the Group Chief Operating Officer, who is responsible for the airline safety and reliable operation, as well as the management and maintenance of the operation division. In addition, he oversees 6 subdivisions, which I will explain later. As you can see, Dato' Muhammad Khalis Abdullah Rahim, Group Chief Human Capital, is the 4th Group Chief. He is in charge of ensuring the qualified personnel receive support and training in order to ensure that they have the knowledge and skill required for a new post. Lastly, in the organization chart also, we have Lau Ying Mei that serves as the company Chief Marketing and Customer Experience Officer. She is in charge of improving customer experience across all customer touchpoints, such as sales and observation of the customer interaction that could lead to new opportunity or new markets. As I stated earlier, there are 6 more divisions under the supervision of Mr. Ahmad Lukman, including the Aero Direct Services, MAB Cargo, Firefly, Maswing, Amal, and MAB Academy. Muhammad Nazaruddin Muhammad Basri is the Chief Executive Officer of the Aero Direct Services Division. He oversees the Ground Operation Division, ensuring that everyday duties like check-in, boarding, and maintenance go off without a problem. The MAB Cargo Division is led by Ibrahim Mohamed Saleh, who also serves as the Group Chief Executive Officer. He is in charge of formulating and developing the cargo business's strategy and direction for the company. The next subdivision is Firefly, which is led by Philip C., the Chief Executive Officer. Mr. Philip is in charge of Firefly's aviation strategic and commercial aspect. Next, Nazaruddin Abdul Bakar is the Chief Executive Officer of Maswing, and Muhammad Najmi bin Mansour is the Chief Executive Officer of Malaysia Airlines Amd. They share security, operational preparation, and flight management responsibility, but they are completely responsible for Maswing and Amal only. Lastly, the MAB Academic, which is overseen by Chief Executive Officer, Mr. Kamaruddin Kamilin, is the final subdivision under the Operation Department. He is in charge of monitoring all learning and development programs planning and implementation. That's all for me. Thank you.
Hi, Assalamualaikum. I am Hafiza. Now I'm going to continue our presentation with the biggest challenge faced by Malaysia Airlines Berhad in the current era, specifically during the COVID-19 pandemic season. We have looked into 3 of Malaysian Airlines Berhad's biggest challenges as a result of our research for a secondary data source. The first and foremost of the biggest challenge is Malaysia Airlines Berhad was subjected to travel restriction and country lockdown. See the implementation of the Movement Control Order MCO on March 18, 2020, airline companies across the country have been forced to halt operation and ground large portion of their fleets, including Malaysia Airlines Berhad's MAB. In addition, Malaysia has also restricted the whole international flight path, including the entry of domestic and foreign tourists to avoid the spread of the COVID-19 virus. According to news by Nurul Huda, a total of 45,600 active flights, both domestic and international, have been cancelled by airlines in order to comply with government regulation. For example, Malaysia Airlines Berhad had to cancel 71.78% of domestic flights and around 28.22% of foreign flights. As a result, passengers have presented a request for a refund or ticket for Malaysian Airlines Berhad, which has to incur significant losses in order to please consumers. Furthermore, Malaysia Airlines Berhad also struggling in boosting revenues, even facing bankruptcy. This is due to the fact that their company is likewise on the verge of bankruptcy as a result of travel limitation imposed during the pandemic in our nation. Malaysia Airlines Berhad principal focus at the moment is growing income, despite the fact that it is on the edge of bankruptcy. According to a press clipping by Siti Farhana, Malaysia Airlines Berhad suffered a loss of around RM 10.9 million as a result of flight cancellation that happened during the movement control period. Malaysia Airlines Berhad has also restricted its operations since the start of the MCO, and it has even implemented pay cutback and granted unpaid leave to almost 13,000 employees. On the other hand, Malaysia Airlines Berhad is working on a restructuring plan to assure its survival and has reached out to its lessors, creditors, and significant suppliers, asking them to accept tax cuts in order to keep the airline viable. If the restructuring plan fails, Malaysia Airlines Berhad parent company, Malaysian Aviation Group MAG, has forecast that the airline will be shut down. And lastly, despite the numerous problems and barriers that Malaysia Airlines Berhad has encountered, the firm continues to confront the challenge of meeting its pledge to pay the salaries of its employees. This is because, as a result of the COVID-19 scenario that is now affecting Malaysia, Malaysia Airlines Berhad is having difficulty paying its employee salaries. As a result, Malaysia Airlines Berhad has taken steps to address the consequence of COVID-19, which also impaired the company's income by cutting the pay of certain of its staff for a period of several months. According to report by Hazwan Faizal and Al-Zahrin, Malaysia Aviation Group MAG, the holding company of Malaysian Airlines Berhad, will cut 10% of senior management salary and allowance for 3 months. And this will continue if the COVID-19 case escalates and no change has been made. On the other hand, Malaysia Airlines Berhad pledge to pay employee salaries was not completely made by the employers in order for the firm to continue operating when COVID-19 struck the country at this time. That's all from me. Thank you.
Assalamualaikum and hi, I am Adia. Why ethics is very important to Malaysia Airlines Berhad? It is because ethical principles in the workplace are critical in determining whether or not a Malaysia Airlines Berhad certifies its ethical standards, provide for the well-being of all stakeholders, and as a result increases profitability. But during the COVID-19 pandemic, Malaysia Airlines Berhad MAB encountered some of ethical issues. Therefore, I will explain in more detail the ethical issue faced by Malaysia Airlines Berhad during COVID-19. The first ethical issue that Malaysia Airlines Berhad faced is the lack of in-flight health precaution. It happened when the Malaysian Minister of Health confirmed the first COVID-19 case involving 3 Chinese nationals who entered Malaysia via Johor from Singapore on January 23. Although the MOH advised to take health precautions, many people still ignore the standard operation procedure, particularly for foreign passengers. In addition, temperature scanners are still not enough to be installed at every airport and trains. Even hand sanitizer and face masks are often out of the stock in the market, and they will affect the SOP passenger who board the plane. In June 2020, Transport Minister Datuk Seri Dr. B. Kasyan decided not to introduce social inculcation on board aircraft in order to comply with the international norms and principles of the International Air Transport Association. Next, the issue that Malaysia Airlines Berhad has faced are related to employee salary and working conditions. This situation can be seen when Malaysia Airlines Berhad MAB asked its 13,000 employers to take unpaid leave and were given the option to take unpaid leave for 3 months or 5 days a month for at least 3 months due to limited flight movement during the COVID-19 pandemic. Not only that, a 10% salary cut for senior executives as part of the cost-saving program was also implemented, as well as setting aside their allowance to help Malaysia Airlines survive. In addition, the recruitment and promotion process will also be stopped by Malaysia Airlines, and layoff of employees will only be done as a last resort to address the current financial crisis. Finally, the lack of preparedness by the government and company is an ethical issue faced by Malaysia Airlines Berhad during the COVID-19 pandemic. Based on the above statement, Finance Minister Tengku Datuk Seri Dr. Tengku Abdul Aziz opined that the government would not invest any cash into Malaysia Airlines Berhad for any recovery measure, as the government believes the airline sole owner Khazanah Nasional Berhad should be responsible for its survival. In fact, aviation specialist at Amd Organizational Structure opined that if Khazanah Nasional had to consider the intention to invest aid money to Malaysia Airlines, as there was no guarantee that this would be successful. That's all from for me. Thank you.
For many executives, the coronavirus pandemic is a crisis unlike any other in recent years. Malaysia Airlines is not immune to the effects of this pandemic, and as a result, leaders of this organization have come out with several efforts to deal with this crisis to ensure that the firm would keep afloat. Hi there, I'm Irene. In this video, I'll go through 3 strategies that Malaysia Airlines Berhad employs to deal with the issues that it faces. Firstly, in the light of the current situation, it is mandatory to follow the safety and health guidelines established by WHO and MOH. Malaysia Airlines also follow flight safety guidelines set forth by the local and international aviation authorities such as Civil Aviation Authority of Malaysia and the International Civil Aviation Organization. Besides, Malaysia Aviation Group has launched the Fly Confidently campaign to inform passengers about enhanced safety measures at all touchpoints. Passengers that are suffering from symptoms of COVID-19 are strongly advised to postpone their flights. Furthermore, all passengers and employees of the airlines are required to wear face covering or protective masks to reduce the risk of transmission aboard. Moreover, employees of the airlines are required to implement an aircraft disinfectant method that strictly adheres to the guidelines prescribed by WHO and MOH. Moreover, the impact of the pandemic on the market is enormous because people are not traveling, causing businesses to cease operations and the aviation landscape to change dramatically. Hence, this has caused the leaders of this organization to introduce salary cuts and unpaid leave to employees of MAB. The CEO has announced a 10% pay cut for senior management as part of measures to reduce operational costs as well as the reduction of their allowances. Beginning in April 2020, this national carrier offered all employees the option of taking 3 months of no pay leave or 5 days of no pay leave per month for at least 3 months. Consequently, MAB requested financial assistance from its sole shareholder, Khazanah Nasional Berhad, as its debt restructuring talks with creditors and lessors have extended past the original deadline. Market speculation suggests that MAB is seeking up to 2.8 billion ringgit in new capital from Khazanah. It was later announced via News Straits Times that Malaysia Airlines Berhad's parent, Malaysia Aviation Group, will receive an amount of 3.6 billion ringgit of new capital from Khazanah to fund the group throughout its restructuring until 2025. To conclude, the group CEO of Malaysia Airlines stated that the world is slowly recovering from the effects of the COVID-19 pandemic and that as passengers begin to travel again, the organization seeks to take their passengers to the skies without worry and hassle-free experience. That's all from me. Thank you.
Assalamualaikum and hi, my name is Shahrizal and now I will present the company's corporate social responsibility and its impact towards society. Corporate social responsibility (CSR) is a business model in which companies make a concerted effort to operate in ways that benefit society and the environment. Corporate social responsibility programs are the most effective way to boost positive employee morale. As an outcome, Malaysia Airlines Berhad has released a new sustainability blueprint that covers 5 areas: economics, governance, safety and security, the environment and social. Malaysia Airlines Berhad (MAB) has implemented an e-donation program as part of its corporate social responsibility. According to an article by Chester Chin, the Malaysia Airlines Berhad frequent flyer program in Reach has previously joined with Mercy Malaysia, Make-A-Wish Malaysia and the Malaysian Red Crescent Society to hold an electronic contribution drive to support people affected during the COVID-19. Besides, according to an article by Malaysia Airlines website 2021, Enrich members can donate their Enrich points as an alternative to monetary donation. In addition, they can support the charity of choice by donating their Enrich points at rate of 5,000 Enrich points for 1 Rm50 e-donation to one of 3 charitable organizations with which they collaborate. Furthermore, the charity offers a variety of services to society, donations to the charity Mercy Malaysia, for example, will be utilized to provide medical assistance as well as sustainable health-related development and risk reduction programs for communities in vulnerable or crisis situations. Meanwhile, enriched members' donation to charities such as Make-A-Wish Malaysia and the Malaysian Red Crescent Society will be used to help realize wishes and make a difference in people's life, as well as give assistance to relieve human suffering. One of the benefits of this program is that Malaysia and Berhad may assist in reducing the country burden by distributing aid to those in need during COVID-19. This is due to the willingness to carry out social obligation with other charity partners by hosting this e-donation program to aid those in need of donation to obtain medical care and other types of support to alleviate human suffering. While the sacrifices may go unnoticed by other communities, they have been of considerable assistance to people in need, particularly during COVID-19, which impacted the public income and health. Despite the fact that the aid appears to be equipped differently, it is nevertheless used to assist people in the community who are experiencing challenges during the COVID-19 season. With this, it clearly demonstrates that Malaysia Airlines is likewise committed to community service. Finally, we have reached the end of our presentation, and what we can conclude is Malaysia Airlines Berhad has faced a number of serious challenges throughout the COVID-19 season, some of which have had such a significant impact that they have almost given up on accommodating the organization. Furthermore, Malaysia Airlines Berhad faces ethical concerns in the airlines, where various parties, particularly the government, have set new work ethics standards to deal with the COVID-19 outbreak in order to protect everyone's well-being and health from being infected with the virus during the period. Throughout the COVID-19 season, the management team of Malaysia Airlines Berhad, on the other hand, has made multiple attempts to resolve all of the company's challenges. Furthermore, the airline's corporate social responsibility is vital to ensuring its survival and beneficial impact on society. Finally, Malaysia Airlines Berhad MAS will be able to overcome all problems it faces with the help of the airline's administration and management and will be more advanced in the future. That's all from us. Thank you.